Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Context. The previous class. The last class we discussed differences between incentive and initiative. We identified 6 points of contrast: the source, who fixes the goal, the effect on action, the inner impact, consequences, and limitations. We had reached the point on consequences, particularly how incentive-based motivation can lead to corruption or indifference. Okay, context. At this point, Aparna raised a question. Can't we have basic expectation like salary, promotion, increment? Some expectation is needed to motivate. Your response was, that's the goal. Okay, you clarified. You work with the specific goal of wealth, artha. There's nothing wrong in seeking salary, promotion, increment, or recognition. You are not doing social work. You are working for a livelihood. I didn't say all this. Okay. And that comes under artha, the first of the Chaturvida Purusharthas, the fourfold human goals. The problem lies not in the goal itself, but in the hurry and anxiety with which one wants it. The emotional disturbance if it doesn't materialize. These are the pitfalls of incentive-based functioning. Yes, there are legitimate goals and one must work towards them. But when they should come, that is governed by a superior intelligence. You have used terms like salary, promotion, increment, and recognition interchangeably as artha and expectation and components of Chaturvida Purushartha. This raises a doubt. How do we clearly distinguish between a goal and an expectation in this context? Second, specifically, is earning a livelihood to be understood as the goal, while promotion and increment are considered expectations? Unnecessarily, you asked all this question. Or are promotion increment also part of the goal and expectation is to be defined differently? Okay, last one. And my understanding in this context says, is there any question below that? Okay. And my understanding in this context, earning a livelihood is the broad goal artha. Salary, promotion, increment, recognition are components of that goal, the means and indicators of achieving artha. However, when these becomes conditions or demands such as, I should get this within 6 months, if I don't get now, I will feel demotivated, they transition from goal components into expectations. So, promotion and increment can be seen as part of the goal of artha, but the timing, speed, and form in which we want them, those are expectations. And that's where incentive-based functioning creates inner disturbance. I'll deal only with the question. Forget the understanding, forget the context. The question is this. How do we clearly distinguish between a goal and an expectation in this context? Specifically, earning a livelihood to be understood as the goal and growth in that are considered expectations. Or promotion increment also part of the goal and expectation is to be defined differently. The answer. What is the difference between a goal and an expectation? Goal gives direction to action. Goal are not meant for attainment, achievements. Goal is meant to give direction to action. Without a goal, there will not be a direction to action. That's very clear. Without a goal, you will not have a direction to your action. Correct? This is the role of the goal. The Chaturvida Purusharthas that we talk about, Artha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. The word Artha means wealth. In any form, wealth. Artha means wealth. Kama means desires. Now, to fulfill your desires, you should afford it. To fulfill your desires, you should afford it. And the way that you can afford to fulfill your desires is by having artha. In that way, desires and wealth are interconnected. Where dharma comes now, where unnecessarily we bring in the third factor called dharma, because the first two is very clear. You have a desire, and to be able to fulfill the desire, you need something to fulfill the desire, which is the wealth. Now, where is dharma coming in here? What is the role of dharma here? The role of dharma comes in when it talks to you about the consequences. You have a desire. What are the consequences of the desire? Number two, in order to fulfill the desire, you are acquiring wealth. In order to acquire wealth, again, you are performing a set of actions. And what are the consequences of those actions? Now, all this comes under the subject matter of dharma. Therefore, dharma, artha, and kama. The fourth one is moksha, liberation. Even though that is the ultimate goal, that is what all human beings are consciously, unconsciously, directly or indirectly seeking. We are not talking about that moksha at all. Now, at least in the context of this book, we are not talking about moksha at all. Why? Moksha as a motivating, inspiring goal is meaningful only to a highly evolved spiritual person. For the one who is not highly spiritually evolved, moksha will not be cannot be a motivating, inspiring goal. Moksha cannot be motivating. Moksha cannot be inspiring. Therefore, we are not talking about moksha. Now, what are we talking about? The artha, kama, and dharma. In the context of incentive and initiative, first thing, you need to earn. Why do you have to earn? Why do you have to earn? Even before you started to contribute, you have started consuming. Consumption happens first, contribution happens later. So at some point in time, you will say, enough of consuming, I will contribute. And the way to contribute, first layer of contribution is what? I will take care of myself. That's the first contribution. Contribution doesn't mean straight away you go to yajna karma. The first level of contribution is what? I will take care of myself. And then you say, not only I will take care of myself, I will take care of the unit around me. And then slowly, the circle increases. Are you okay till now? So earning a livelihood is an indicator of the clarity. What is the clarity? I have been a consumer. From now on, I'll be a contributor. And what is the first step towards contribution? Yeah. முதல்ல கடன் அடைக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி கடன் வாங்குறது நிப்பாட்டு. Correct? In order, before repaying the loan, first thing that you have to do is what? Stop. First discipline is to stop borrowing. Then you can Supposing you are repaying and simultaneously borrowing. Does it make any sense? On the one side, you are repaying. On the other hand, you go on borrowing. Does it make any? It doesn't make any sense at all. Therefore, first thing is what I will stop being a consumer. I will contribute. And what is the first step of contribution? I will become self-sufficient. What is self-sufficiency means? My lifestyle according to my earnings, my desires according to my earnings. There are so many things in the planet. Yeah, there are so many things available on this planet. Now, what you will desire, what you will say no to. What you will say yes to and what you will say no to. The idea is not about the quality of the object. The idea is about how much are you self-sufficient? How much are you able to do it by yourself? Are you able to follow? Are you okay till now? Because you will be in a hurry to fulfill that desire, and the way to fulfill that desire is what? Not only you have desires, you go on creating more desires. So the existing desires plus the additional desires ensures that what you have is never enough. You have existing desires and you go on creating more desires. So compared to this, what you have is never enough. Therefore, what happens? I need more and more and more. Yeah. Promotion gotcha. Band na edo something I can get. All this becomes part of the fulfilling the desire. Are you able to follow? Now, you go on doing the right thing. You work according to the law. What needs to come to you cannot be stopped by. Even gods cannot stop. Even gods cannot stop what must come to you. In the same law, gods cannot give you also what you don't. Listen. Are you able to follow? If God cannot take you, what can come to you? God cannot give you what? What should not come to you. So either way, there's no problem. Either way, there's no need to be worried or anxious about these factors. Are you able to follow? That's what we said. Instead of worrying about these things, keep doing what you ought to do. These things are bound to come. One. Second is motivation should not be dependent on these factors. That's what we are discussing here. In the context of what we are discussing is your motivation should be dependent upon what? Your inspiration and motivation should be dependent upon. That's what we are calling as initiative. Is it okay till now? This is what we call as initiative. Therefore, what are the words? Incentive, promotion, I don't know what all words we use. Is it all part of the goal or not part of the goal? In a very loose sense, we use these terms. We never use these terms in the strict sense of Vedanta. These terms do not exist. What terms do not exist? Promotion, increment, all this do not exist in the strict sense, meaning it will come to you if you deserve it, it will come to you. Therefore, no need to be anxious about it. You don't have to keep this as a goal. Then what you should keep as the goal? What you should keep as the goal? Whatsoever I need to do, I will do it with Shraddha, conscientiously. Shraddha. Whatever I need to do, I'll do it with Shraddha. And whatever comes out of it is the prasad. I do it with Shraddha, and whatever comes out of it is the prasad. Is the way in which initiative works. Therefore, don't get carried away by these words that are used here. These words are used because people use these words in the ordinary vocabulary. We also used it, but we used it in a very loose way. We really didn't, because that's not the subject matter. Because why it is not the subject matter? These things should not be the motivating factors. What should be the motivating factor then? What should be the motivating factor then? What should be the motivating factor then? You are grateful that you had an opportunity to do it. You are grateful that you are having an opportunity to do it, and you do it to the best of your ability. To the best of your ability, you do it. All this cannot be told to anybody. Why? Because everybody says, I'm practicing all this already, sir. It doesn't work at all. Why? Because everybody's argument is, say something new, no, sir, because all this is how I'm living life all along. But still it's not working. It means what? Your law is not that correct. I've heard this from any number of people. They tell me, after coming to Vedanta, only I realized that I was living Vedanta all through, even without knowing it. I'm like, wow, Narayana. You have to prostrate to them only. Yeah. I didn't know I was doing it. Now I know. I'm like, yeah, good. What do we do now? You follow? Therefore, go back to the question now. Show just the question. Delete the previous commentary, the commentary before, and the tikas later. Remove all that. Just to give the question. Question here, 4 page. Yeah. Just to the question. System is also not cooperating with the question. Read out the question. Where is it? I can't see. Is it there? I can't. It's come.
I'll read.
Yeah, please read the question out.
How do we clearly distinguish between a goal and an expectation in this context? Then
Wait. One at a time. How do we clearly distinguish between goal and expectation in this context? How do you distinguish between goal and expectation? What is the difference? Which I defined already. Goal is a direction to action. What is the direction to action? Wealth is the goal. Are you able to follow? What is the goal? Wealth is the goal. Expectation is? Wealth is the goal. What is the expectation? Expectation is common. What is the definition of expectation? So many times we have defined. All the past definitions you tell me, I will give you a new definition today. Something new is. What is an expectation? This part. Expectation means this should happen, this should not happen. That's what expectations. What is an expectation? Expectation means this should happen, this should not happen. Supposing it is told you should come to work at 9 o'clock and leave at 6 o'clock. But then, whenever it pleases me, salary will be credited to your account. Correct? Are you able to follow the scenario that I'm talking about? You must come to work at this time and leave at this time, 6 days a week. No, nothing. But then in return, what I should do? But then, any salary varum, you will ask. 28th, 29th, bank holiday varanda, what will you do on that day? All the questions will come, for which the answer is, don't ask all these questions. Whenever I feel like giving, I will give. Is that expectation that it should come on time legitimate or not? Is that expectation legitimate or not? On a worldly Vyavaharika plane, it is legitimate. Are you able to follow? On a worldly Vyavaharika plane, it is legitimate. Why? Because then only you can plan. Just as they have a plan, then only you can plan. You can do what you want to do. You know what to do. You know what you can't do. All this is common sense. So what do we say as don't have expectation? What is meant by don't have expectations? Now it is confusing, sir. Now it is confusing. What is meant by said? What is meant when it is said don't have expectations? That expectation that causes you to lose your motivation, that causes anxiety and worry, should not have. Are you able to follow? So expectation that causes worry, anxiety, makes you to lose your motivation, you should not have. Now, what would be that expectation that makes you to lose motivation? What would be that expectation? What would be that expectation? First expectation is, I am not recognized. Are you able to follow? I am not recognized. It's against the law. What are all the, so what expectation, what is it that we call as problematic expectations? Salary டயத்துக்கு வரணும்ன்றது common sense. வரணும் அது. வந்தாதான் you can live your life. Yeah, any day I will give now. How can you live like? Therefore, so that is very clear. That is common sense. It is. That's not philosophy. That is common sense. To say that no, any day you give, I'm still okay because I have studied Vedanta. That Vedanta is wrong and the Vedanta teacher is also completely wrong. Yeah. Then what is expectation? Then what do we mean by don't have? What do we mean by don't have an expectation? There is a constant worry. There is a constant anxiety. That constant worry and anxiety is because of what is the analysis. Everybody follow? That constant worry and anxiety is the expectation. That constant worry and anxiety is caused by expectation. Worry and anxiety is because of what? You have exaggerated in your head what should be the compensation of your action. In your head, you have a price. Again, I repeat, in your head, you have a price, what you should be compensated. And then there is the reality. If what you have in your head and the real is very close, you are all right. If the reality and what you think you deserve in your head. And if that gap is wide, you will be always stressed. That I deserve this, I must be getting it, and I am not getting it. That is the expectation. Are you able to follow the difference? Very. If I deserve it, it will come. What will come? First, the salary will come. Yeah, forget about incentives and all. Salary will come first. There's no need to worry about it. So worry and anxiety is caused by expectations. Expectation means, definition I'm giving, you move away from the reality. When you move away from the reality, that is called expectation. Only when you move away from the reality, you will have an expectation. That's the definition. In this context, in all contexts, the definition of expectation is the same. Definition of expectation will not differ from context to context. Under all context, definition of expectation, what is expectation? You move away from the reality. This is the reality, but in your head, you have a different reality. And the world not catering to the reality that you have in your head is the problem. You have a reality in your head, and the world not catering to that reality is. Are you able to follow? Next question. What is that? Part B to that question. Specifically, is earning a livelihood to be understood as the goal, while promotion and increment are considered expectations, or they are also part of the goal and expectation is to be defined differently as inner disturbance. Correct. Expectation is inner disturbance. Very clear. Expectation is inner disturbance. Which the second part I already explained. Is it a goal, or is it something that is it a goal, or is it something that needs to be one cannot be a goal and another cannot be an expectation. So I already defined what is earning a livelihood means. Earning a livelihood is defined by earning a livelihood is defined by dharma. What is dharma? Instead of being a consumer, I will be a contributor. Is it okay? Do you have anything to clarify? Unmute her.
No, I will revisit the lectures and I'll come back to you.
Good. Very good. Abada. Breathing for now. Yeah. Today I don't have a problem. Yeah. Kala is taking care. So no issues now. When someone is initiative driven, no, why it's flipping? The question is going on flipping. I'm not able to see it at all.
So should I post the questions?
No, I can't see it in this. Just put it in the.
It's not visible.
Yeah, just highlight it and just keep it. When someone is initiative driven, then are they performing karma yoga without the desired fruit, or is initiative driven different than karma yoga? When someone is initiative driven, they are practicing karma yoga. Correct. It is practicing karma yoga. assuming I am initiative driven in the corporate world, how do I make someone work out of initiative? I understand the concept, although I don't know how to execute on the concept. You work out of initiative. By that work, somebody will get inspired and follow. You cannot give a discourse to someone and make them shift from incentive to initiate. You cannot give that discourse. You cannot give the discourse to say a shift from incentive to initiative. You work on initiatives, continue to work on it for a long period of time. Somebody will pick it up and they will be motivated. That is the only way. You can't give a discourse and say, now from today onwards, corporate culture, we all will work on initiative. They will say, you work. I want. Yeah, you work on your initiatives. You hear some discourse and you don't come and thrust it on me. I work only for incentives, full stop. So how can you convert? You cannot. Because you yourself is incentive driven. Because you yourself is incentive driven, how can you motivate somebody? Therefore, how to inculcate it? You cannot give a discourse and make somebody move from incentive to initiate. But you can live this kind of life of performing actions and inspire somebody. That is possible. Are you okay till now? You cannot teach. You cannot give a discourse. If discourses can work, we all would have become wise already. The fact that discourses don't work is us. Yeah. The proof that discourses don't work is us, because simply not working. No. Why? It doesn't work like that. It requires a lot of, you need to live that life. Then you can inspire somebody, even though it's an ideal. Next question. How do I get myself to be initiative bound in the corporate world just to work as a duty? Context. The relationship between action and results is governed by a law which we can attempt to understand but never change. Correct. For any action, a proper result accrues according to the law. Very correct. What factors govern the law requires a lot of patient understanding and study. What are those laws that govern them? Previous statement itself, I told you, no. It requires a lot of patient understanding and study. Law cannot be given as a statement and you start following it. If only it can work like that, it's very easy to teach. If only it can work like that, where it is given and then you go back and start living it straight away. Why it requires a lot of patient study and understand? Why it requires, why patience is required so much? Patience is required so much because you cannot trust. You cannot trust the law. If you can trust the law, changes is very fast. But you cannot trust the law. You cannot trust. Trust means what? Trust means what? You don't have any independent opinion about anything. You don't have any independent about anything. What Dharma says is the law. You don't have any independent opinion or contrary opinion. If you have any independent or contrary opinion, then you must work on your opinions, understand those fallacies, which requires lot of patient study, etc. Are you able to follow? Why patience is required? Because we come with our independent opinions. We come with some independent opinions. We come with some independent understanding. And how did we form those opinions? From where we develop this understanding? How did we form those opinions? Randomly we pick up things, and in our head we made a garland. Randomly we pick up things. Something I learned from my grandmother, something I learned from my grandfather, something from here, something from there. Random things I'll pick up, and I'll weave all those things that I picked up randomly. I'll make a garland in my head and live life out of that. That's how we form our opinions. And the law comes and says something which is very, very different. Now I cannot trust the law. Why you cannot trust the law? Why you cannot trust the law? At the end of the day, carefully follow. At the end of the day, you think you are the wisest. Full stop. You think you are the wisest. And what makes you to think you are the wisest? I have experienced it, sir. Therefore, I know. You have an experience, and based on that experience, you form certain things, and you believe you are the wisest. And dharma comes and says, the law comes and says, which is totally contradictory to that. How can you understand it straight away? One law will take 2 years. There are 20 laws, Amit. One law will take 2 years. There are 20 laws. Now, how many years it will take? Huh? Mathematics? A fellow went for an interview. The fellow went for an interview. The question is asked, 8 into 3. The question asked, what is 8 into 3? What is the answer? 8 into 3, 24. Answer, very clear. He said 23. 1 week later, he got the job. 1 week later, he got the job. He was surprised that how he got the job when he gave the answer wrongly. But then he went. He went, joined the company. Sincerely, he worked, got promotion, got incentives, 5 years later, he asked the boss, I gave the wrong answer. And still, why did you give me the job? Still, why did you give me the job? Boss said, 250 people came for the interview. Your answer is the closest to the right answer. You understand? See, either it is 24 or everything else is wrong. There is no closest. Correct? Yeah, that's the answer. Either it is 24. There's only one answer, 24. Rest of the answers is, see, you can say 230, you can say 445, you can say 23. All are wrong. Yes or no? We think like that. Approximately, we just go along like approximately somewhere we get it. No, we want like that. But laws don't take. The law takes that much patient study. Patience is required because you come with a lot of baggage already. To remove the baggage with which you have come is the difficulty. To say the law is not difficulty. To explain the law is not difficulty. But to see the baggage and penetrate through your baggage and explain the law. I don't know why these masters even attempt to help us out. Because it's such a difficult thing to do. Therefore, what are these laws? That's why I said patience is required. And then another word, corporate world. How many worlds are there? There's only one world, no. Corporate world, scientific world, artistic world, foolish world. There is only one world. and the law is the same, irrespective of corporate world, in a separate world, useless world it is. Useless world, corporate world. So remove that word, simply say world. In the world, it doesn't work. In the world, how to work on initiative. That connection you made is correct. It is karma yoga. It is initiative is part of karma yoga. I'm not saying initiative equals karma yoga. Carefully follow. It's not initiative equals karma yoga. It's part of karma yoga. And then there are so many other factors also that goes into it. Yeah, goes into it. Next clarification. While I agree with the concept of incentives at some point will not work, in my personal experience in the corporate world, I haven't seen it to be true. Okay, whatever be that, whatever he's saying. Okay, just as much wants more. Just as you explained the 99 Club by Swami Ramartha, you could keep incentivizing most people forever. Most people have more and more desires, the more they accomplish. Besides, if for whatever reason they hit neutralization, then you could just replace them with someone else who's fresh to incentives. Correct. What is the solution if you want to run an initiative, run life and business? This is how everybody goes bankrupt. Because of this attitude, there is a crash. Everybody is going bankrupt because of this only. I give incentive, and that a time has come where the salary level is so high. Replace that fellow, take the fellow out of job, and bring in a fresher. Because anyway, who cares about the who cares about the product has to be delivered on time? Give some excuses and keep buying time, and by the time the fresher will pick up and learn something, and you have made your thing. Very good business idea. No, this is very good business idea. No, this is you go crash after crash, and you bankruptcy and collapse happens because of this attitude. Not even grateful to the fellow who has been, not even grateful to the person who has been there for a time. Incentives. There is a very famous American fellow. All Americans come up with the extraordinary wisdom. Yeah. Show me the incentives, I'll show you the outcome. Who has heard that? Anybody has heard that? One great fellow said, I keep forgetting that person's name, but I remember that. He said, show me the incentive, I will show you the outcome. Exactly opposite to what we are saying. He said it. I don't know where I read it, but I remember it. It means what? You want me to do this job faster? Tell me extra how much you will get. I will do it. Correct. That is what we called as, in the last class, that's what I call as bribery. That's what I called as bribe. And that's how you make people corrupt. That's what I said. It makes people corrupt. It works. Of course it works. It works in terms of what? It works in terms of you making some. It works in terms of you making, I don't know, whatever you call as profit you make, no doubt about it. At the end of it, what happens? At the end of it, what happens? The proof of profit, the proof of success is the ability to be at peace with it and enjoy. The ability to be at peace with what you have and enjoy what you have. That's where dharma comes and tells you, you will get it. No doubt you will get it. That's why when I spoke about the various factors that goes into determining the result of the action, I said you do actions with all this incentive attitude, material success will come. Where did we deny that? In the various steps that determines the result, performing actions in this way will give you material rewards will come. Artha will not come. Material success will come. And material success means you think your bank balance is increasing. No, that is not success. Why? Because as the bank balance is increasing, the gap in your head is always remaining the same. Where is the success? Remember, 1 by 2, 2 by 4, 16 by 32. Looks very different, no? Looks very different, correct? 1 by 2, 16 by 32, looks the same. No? Are they the same? Are they different? Are they the same? Are they the different? They are the same. But numbers make you to believe it's different. That's how delusion happens. Okay. Numerator and denominator, same. What is the difference? 64 by 128. 64, 128. 1 by 2 anger, 64 by 128 anger. But then basic arithmetic, if you understand, yeah, both are same. But people misunderstand the number increasing at 64 and 128 as progress, success. Vedanta comes and removes that notion. What is that notion? Numerator and denominator goes on increasing. Doesn't make any difference. Ultimately, it remains the same. Are you able to follow? Therefore, we don't see it in a very narrow picture. We see it in the true sense of the term. You should know how to see it penetratively and see it. What is penetrative vision? 1 by 2 nalu one da, 64 by 1 by 8 nalu one da. Vijay, basic fraction theriyumla? You know the basic fraction, no? Numerator and denominator goes on increasing. Ade difference, it goes on increasing. So mentally, you always remain mentally you are always the same. Initiative driven life makes it very different. What is the difference in initiative driven life? Ulta fraction. What is the ulta fraction now? The gap is reducing. The gap goes on reducing. That gap reducing is the joy. The gap reducing is the joy, the happiness, which is the initiative. So, corporate world doesn't matter. World is governed by greed. It doesn't matter which world it is. Everything in the world is governed by greed. What is greed? Greed. In initiative, you have the clarity to be doing the action from your understanding rather than consideration from any external factor. That's what initiative is. There is no external factor that is determining it. It is your own conviction. That is dharma. Are you able to follow? Okay, to put it in a very simple way, your sense of dharma, morality is decided by the other or is decided by your conviction. கேள்வி புரியுதா விஜய்? Is your morality decided by the other or is it decided by your own conviction? If it is decided by the other, it will be fluctuating. If it is your own conviction, then only it is called the proper understanding, the initiate. I'm just using this as an example. Sir, with these people and all, it's okay to be greedy and selfish. But with some people, it is okay to be unselfish. Huh? You should not be greedy with anybody and you should be unselfish with everybody. Expressions will differ, but your inner attitude of you must be unselfish to everybody and you must not be greedy in relation to anything is universal. You go. Incentives always work. We don't deny the fact that incentives don't work. It works. But the damage that it does, then the good it does. You are giving an incentive, there is a good that it does, and then there is the damage that it does. Now we are weighing the difference between the good and the damage. We are not saying it is damaging from the beginning. No, it does something good, but then it also does some damage. Now, between the good that it does and the damage that it does, we should know how to distinguish between the two and then make a choice. You follow? The common sense we all do nowadays, no? Any medicine we take, the first question we ask is the side effect. It means what? What are you asking there? Medicine is going to do some good, but is it going to lead to greater damage? If it is going to lead you to greater damage, then is it a medicine or poison? What would you call it as? Medicine or poison? Poison. Incentive and initiative is like the same example. What is it? It does good and it does damage. Now, what is the difference between the good that it does and the damage that it does? That clarity is required. And then choose to say, no. Understanding. Understanding enna artham? See, the question that you are asking is how to motivate the other to work on initiative. Understanding means you will make a choice to work on initiative. You will not worry about how to motivate the other. The very fact that we are asking question about how to motivate the other to work on initiative, we have started to look at this discussion of incentive and initiative as an we are starting to look at this discussion of incentive and initiative as another incentive. We are not looking at it right. So what should be the right understanding? The right understanding is, yes, if having understood the difference between initiative and incentive, I will decide to live my life based on initiative. Whichever world it is, it can be corporate world, it can be your personal world, it can be the social world, any world it is, doesn't matter. You choose to live this life. It is not driven by any external, consideration. So understanding means you take a pratigya that I am going to live life like this. If you are not convinced, then you will ask how to convince the other. The fact that everybody is thinking of how to convince the other means you have not tried convincing yourself. Try convincing yourself. You know how difficult it is. Then you will stop this business of trying to convince others. Are you able to follow? You will want to convince the other only when you think you are already convinced or not. Which you yourself agree. I assume so. Within brackets. Yeah, correct. To that extent, I appreciate you. Yeah, I assume so. Potter. I would have told him to come here, give him one knock and send him back. I assume so. Correct. So, awesome. You yourself didn't. We believe it is so easy to convince the other. Why do you think it is so easy to convince the other? Because you have never tried convincing yourself. You try convincing yourself, then you will know how impossible it is an exercise to convince anybody. Because you yourself is not listening to you. You try convincing yourself, you yourself is not listening to you. And how on earth you believe somebody else is going to listen to you and get motivated? You listen to you. There is one. You are able to listen to you. There is one Shanti. There is one peace. There is one clarity. Something is so attractive, the other starts listening. Are you able to follow now? So, in order to bring about the change in the other, you need to understand it as, yes, I must do it by myself. Very difficult to change yourself. That's why, sir, if everybody has changed, then it will be easy for me to change, no? That's why I'm trying. If everybody around me has changed, in that conducive environment, I can easily change, no? Well, if Lord Krishna were to come and live with you also, it will be the same situation. Why? Why? The trouble is stemming from the baggage that you have, the baggage with which you are coming, and certain some aspects of it you have understood it, experienced it, and that has become a law in your head, and very difficult to break that. Very difficult to break that. That's why it's called conditioning. We all come with a heavy conditioning. We come with a heavy conditioning. Well done. That's why in the Upanishads, the Guru tests whether conditioning is there or not. Conditioning in that teaching will not be done. And how do they test whether conditioning is there or not? They will ask them to do some impossible, menial, detestable task. You will be told to do that. And the fact that you are told itself, you will be rebelling against it. Now go back. Okay, rebellion, then go back, get matured. Why? Because that much of thing is required. See, imagine the boy leaves everything and comes to the Guru and asks, I want a Brahma Vidya. He says, attend to my cows, and once they become 1,000, bring it back. Na? What kind of a Brahma Vidya teaching vanda or கூப்பிட்டு உட்காத்தி வச்சுக்கணும், isn't it? Somebody says, I want Brahma Vidya and come to you, what you should do? Keep that fellow with you. You bought your ticket, no? Return ticket you got, no? Resaji, I'm just asking my prarabdha karma. Have you gotten the return tickets? He said, yes, Appada. I'm getting the relief now. Somebody says, I want a Brahma Vidya and come now, immediately you should catch hold of that fellow and keep that fellow with you. No, he didn't do that. What did that Guru did? Menial task. What is a menial task? Attend to take the two, take them. Once they become 1,000, come back. But how this will help me to gain Brahma Vidya? First question ketale. Yeah. But how this will help me to gain Brahma Vidya? Once you give me a convincing answer, I will take it. That guru will say, go to Wednesday time pass class. There they will tell you all these things. I have no time for all you people. Wednesday time, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, all the day. In my head, it's happening all the time. Yeah. Go there, time pass class, they will teach you all the things. I have no time for all these things. You follow? Very difficult to convince ourselves because of the conditioning with which we come. It's not being criticized. It's only said how difficult it is. And we are so grateful to these masters because they make it so such a difficult task. They're trying to make it simple. Yeah, they're trying to make it simple. Yeah. When the mother kudukrang, yeah, working pon. It should just go in. That's why we have this butter festival. You know that? There is one festival called butter festival. Tomato we have, grapes we have, orange festivals and we have. Here we have butter festival. And you know what they do in butter festival? They will throw butter on God. They will not throw on themselves. They will throw butter on God. And all the priests will be full of butter. Butter butter adivangi, they become butter, they are called butter only. It should be like that. How they make it so soft, so subtle, so easy for us. It just enormous work there. Are you able to follow? So to convince, you will make an attempt to convince the other only when you have convinced yourself. If you have made an effort to convince yourself, then you will never be in a hurry. Then you will never be in a hurry to teach anybody. Why? You will never be in a hurry. Why? Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. You understand it. Therefore, you follow the answer. Therefore, it is not the question of how to convince somebody to work on initiative, because that's the only language we know. See, right from the childhood, what is the language we talk? Incentive is the language we talk. We don't speak the language of initiative at all. We speak only the language of incentive. Olunga padikkalana, you will not be a good human being, we will not say. Olunga padikkalana, வேலை கிடைக்காது, மாடு மேய்க்கணும் இல்லையா? மாடு மேய்க்கணும், டீ கிளாஸ் கழுவணுமா? Deepika, you don't understand all this, no? Divya, you understand? Yeah, they say that, no, you become only that, you will fit that, only this. We never say you must get educated, because then only you can be a good human being. You are training them into initiative. You tell them that you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do this, you will not have this. Then they think what? Okay, they'll do that. And then when they start chasing that, you will get irritated. You train them for 25 years to go behind that. New Zealand, Australia, oh, they went to New Zealand. You only told them for 25 years to go there. Now they have gone America. Chicago. Chicago, they went. Of course they will go. You only told them to go. No, you trained them to go. They will go. Always from the beginning, if you look at the lifestyle, we talk about incentive-driven motivation only. We keep giving. To ourselves we give, and to everybody around us also. What is initiative? Talking on dharma, the principles, making them understand that. Now, if you made an effort to know, to convince yourself, then what will you do? You will simply stay, but why wouldn't? Yeah. மூடிட்டு டேபிள் எது வருதோ சாப்பிட்டு that's all. Whatever comes on the table, simply eat and stay quiet. அவ்வளவுதான். Here is the problem. You follow? We'll continue with the incentive initiative chart next week.